Hello and welcome back. My name is Rebecca Escott and I'm going to show you another fun, very simple Christmas design today. I am going to be using a plaid black and red vinyl from AB Designs as well as an AB Designs 30-ounce tumbler. So using the tabletop cutter, I went ahead and cut down my vinyl in the width of the tumbler so I don't have to trim the seam later. The only thing I'm going to have to work on is the top and the bottom, and I gave myself somewhat of a seam allowance in order to do this. So we're going to go ahead and use the velvet side of our squeegee to help us roll this over the tumbler and get this wrapped fully around. Most importantly, you just want to make sure that you don't have any wrinkles when applying your vinyl. If so, give it a gentle tug back and just replace it. If you find after you've wrapped your entire tumbler that you have air pockets, just use your weeding pen and or your X-Acto knife and pop them out. Once the vinyl is fully wrapped, we're going to go ahead and work on the top and the bottom and trim that up. When I'm using my cup edging tool, I really like to take a couple of passes around just to make sure that that vinyl has cut all the way through. Then I'll use my X-Acto knife and trim that rim. Do you ever just come across a design and think, yes, I have to recreate that on a tumbler? Well, me too. I came across that nail design and had to recreate this absolutely immediately. I fell in love with this design and it was so simple to recreate. So of course I immediately made sure that I had the correct vinyl to use, and I went straight to Google and found a deer scene with some trees. It's not exact and it doesn't have to be, but the idea is plentiful. I am certain that if you also check Etsy that they have plenty of digital downloads for you guys as well that would come in the SVG or PNG format. For my vinyl scenery, I am using Tech Wrap Craft Vinyl, and it has like a shimmery glitter effect to it already, which was literally perfect for this project. I also cut this at a width of 10 inches and the height was 4.72. I will also be sure to mark all of those sizings down for you in the description below. Once you meet the other side, we're going to go ahead and use our velvet side of our squeegee just to really rub this down really well, and then we can remove the contact paper. Once fully wrapped, we're now ready to go ahead for our first coat of epoxy. For my first coat, I'm going to add in Glorious, which is a glitter additive, into my epoxy for everything to really shine up. I am going to be using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY for this first coat. We're going to let this fully cure before moving on to the next step. As always, use that heat torch to pop any bubbles you may or may not be able to see. Okay, so I apologize for not having recorded this step, but it's super simple, so I'm just going to walk you through it. I've already saran wrapped the top portion of my tumbler to protect it from overspray, and I used electrical tape as a base for the very bottom. Then I went in with my blue vinyl tape in order to give me slightly grooves, which works really well for when you're doing curved projects. So most importantly, you want to make sure that there is no gap between your electrical tape and that vinyl tape, because then you're going to have a little spray paint section that's just not going to look right. So you'll see that I kind of curved up and around the bottom edge of this tumbler to give that snow effect and to look like their deer paws are in the sand as well as the bottom of the trees. Then I'm going to use the gloss white spray paint to spray paint that bottom in, and then I'm going to use Bougie, which is a holographic find from AB Designs. If you are familiar with my channel, you already know that I love to use the spray paint glitter method, and the spray paint is my adhesive. I find this to be very simple and it works with almost all glitters. If at any point you find that you need a second coat, by all means, you need to use Clear Seal from Rust-Oleum, spray paint that glittered section, and just re-glitter. We're going to let this fully dry, but first I am going to go ahead and remove all of my masking and my tape from the tumbler. Once this is dry, I'm then going to use the Clear Seal again, but this time to lock in that glitter. Once I was pretty confident that my seal of my glitter had fully dried, I went ahead and added Season's Greetings onto this tumbler, which gave it a nice finishing touch. I will have the font used and the size of this saying in the description below. So after I applied the saying, this tumbler did not need to be sealed and was ready for another coat of epoxy. For this coat of epoxy, I am using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY, and I also again added in the Glorious additive into my epoxy. And here she is, almost fully completed. This tumbler only needed one more coat of epoxy and it was fully completed. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if so, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss future tutorials. Also, please drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think of this tumbler, and if you decide to recreate, I hope that you do. Make sure you tag me on all the social medias so that I can see your replication of this tumbler. I really want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. And until next time, Merry Christmas!